Hey, what's up? I'm Adam. If you're new here and if you're returning, then you know what's good. Today I want to talk about how I built and maintain my physique with the hopes that it might help anyone who is interested in building and maintaining muscle, potentially reducing your body fat a little bit, really just cultivating the physique that it is you want and you desire. I think a lot of what I'm going to share may be helpful. I'm drawing on my years of experience, also information I learned when I did courses, my certification, working in a gym for years, and also my lifting guide, where there's packed full of information, full of routines that you can do, just a wealth of information. So if you want more, that'll be in the description bar below. So first thing I want to talk about is tracking. When I saw my first drastic transformation, I started in the gym and started with weights. I wasn't actually tracking. I was very active and I would pretty much eat what I wanted. Not junk, I was always eating whole foods, still new to eat food that was high in protein and nutritious, but I didn't need to track it. I was like at the gym, I worked at a gym as well, I was walking around all the time at uni and stuff like that. But as the Panasonic hit and I now work from home, I don't move around a lot. Other than when I go to the gym or maybe if I take a walk, I'm not really moving anywhere near as much as I used to, basically. And so I found that tracking and incorporating that into my fitness journey, my fitness routine, would help me get back on track and understand where I might be going wrong or where I'm going really right. So tracking like my calories, but also my macros, so how much of that's protein, how much of that's carbs, how much of that's fat. And I've spoken about this before, but tracking can be really helpful in certain stages of your journey. I don't think it has to be, all right, when I'm gonna have to track for the rest of my life and input into MyFitnessPal, everything I eat until I'm dead, basically. I don't think that's the case, because you start to internalize and learn, all right, how much is roughly you should be eating, what sort of things you should be eating throughout the day without then having to track, because you have that data that you've already collected and solidified in your mind. But tracking can be good, one, when you're first starting a fitness journey and you're just unsure. You don't even know how much you're eating at the moment. You don't know where that nutrition is coming from. This can be a really great first step. The second time I think it's really important to track, or can be useful, is if you have a specific goal. So you are in a phase now where you want to put on muscle, you want to reduce your body fat, whatever it is, tracking can help you really laser focus in on the nutrition portion of your journey. And the third one is when you're seeing a change in your body and you're not sure what's going on. So this is excluding potential health issues and stuff like that. But if you're suddenly putting on weight or losing weight and stuff like that, and you think it might be to do with your diet and nutrition, then it's a good thing to track and collect the information. But yes, tracking can be very, very useful, and it's a tool that I use on and off throughout my journey. The next point I want to talk about is about planning. Now, the ultimate form of this is obviously meal prepping, which I have done again on and off during my fitness journey. And when I've done it, I've always been like, why on earth do I not do this every single time? My life is so much easier. I can ensure that I'm getting all the nutrition that I need and desire for the physique I'm trying to build or maintain. And I don't have to worry about cooking it every 3 hours or whatever, 4 hours, or whatever it is. So that's obviously the ultimate form. But really just having an idea about what you plan on consuming in the day can take away that stress in your mind about what I'm going to eat next, or is this all matching up? And again, you can either note it in your head if you're just good like that, you can write it down, or you can put it into your tracking application. However you're tracking your food, you can put it in there, and if it goes like that, you don't have to stick to it exactly, but at least you have a rough idea and there's no need for you to go completely off in one direction, or not eating enough or eating too much. So the next point I want to make is about maintenance, calories, surplus and deficits. So most of the year I am in a maintenance phase where I'm just trying to maintain where I'm at right now in terms of my mass. I'm not trying to do anything drastically to my body, and maintenance, as it would suggest, is the amount of calories you need to maintain your current mass. But there are times when that might change for me, where I might increase the amount of calories that I'm consuming, because I'm in a phase where, I'm really into my muscle growth at the moment. I really want to get a lot stronger quite quickly. It won't be drastic to the point where I'm like, oh, now I've got a cut for like a year or something because I've put on so much weight. I try to keep everything within a healthy range where I'm not swinging too much either side. There are other times where I'm like, my priority right now is a reduction in body fat, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. So depending on the season that you're in, depending on your goals at the moment, will depend on whether you're in calorie maintenance, deficit or surplus. I will say, when I was a lot younger and I was quite big and I was trying to get slim relatively quickly, I had a large calorie deficit. Right now, my calorie deficit is extremely small by comparison. I'm talking maybe no more than 100 calorie deficit a day. And the reason for that is because I don't want to compromise on muscle. Or I don't want to compromise too much on muscle. So the higher your calorie deficit, the greater that calorie deficit, the more likely it is that you're going to have to compromise on muscle, i.e. you're going to lose muscle because your body is in a state where what it's getting in isn't matching what's coming out. Like, you're burning more than you're feeding your body, and therefore that's a really hard state for your body to build muscle in because it's so demanding. So the smaller that calorie deficit, the longer it will take for you to potentially reduce that body fat or reduce your mass, but you can maintain and hold on to a lot of that muscle, if not all of it. One quick thing I would suggest, if you're not sure what your maintenance calories is, there are calculators that can give you an idea about where you sit. You'll also become more aware of it as time goes on. If you're tracking your calories and you're also looking at your physique, however you're measuring your progress and tracking that, then you'll be able to see how different sorts of calorie changes may affect that. I'm talking more in the long term, like there's no point, I changed my calories for like a day or half a day and I didn't lose 10 pounds, so I don't want to do this anymore. But yeah, those calculators can be very helpful if you just have no idea where to even start. They take in things like your height, your weight, and your activity level, and then calculate roughly how many calories you should be consuming. So next thing I want to talk about is macros, specifically protein and carbs. Fats are obviously in there, but these are the two that I think make the biggest impact on my body. Whatever the phase is in my fitness journey, protein is a priority, and getting enough protein into my body is a priority. So I will consume protein in almost every meal I consume in the day. There may be a time I have a snack like an apple or something that obviously doesn't have, it's not high in protein, but for the most part, I am conscious about how much protein I am getting in. On the contrary, if I am in some sort of deficit, like I said, a slight deficit like I am now, that deficit will come from carbs. And the reason is just because I won't take from proteins. Fats, they're already not high enough for me to want to drop anymore. Not that they're super low, but fats are important as well. And I know they get demonized and things like this, but healthy fats are also imperative to your body, whether you're doing keto or something like that or not. And carbs are calorie dense. Like one bite of bread or something like that, I'm basically thrown over now. But that doesn't mean you go all out, we're never eating carbs ever again, because they're also very useful, especially if you're lifting and training to provide energy. So the next thing I want to talk about is routines. I can see the difference in my fitness journey, whether I'm trying to maintain, whether I'm trying to lose body fat, whether I'm trying to increase my muscle mass. If I don't have a routine, progress is slow, if at all, right? And what I mean by this is having clear times of the day or days of the week that you're going to train, or what you're going to train on those days, or what muscle groups you're going to combine and things like that. The thing is, as humans, we always or often would take the path of least resistance. And when you have no routine and you're not sure about what you're actually going to do at the gym, what gym you're going to go to and all this stuff, you're kind of adding a layer of friction in between you and the gym, like you getting to the gym. So make it easy for yourself. And this is why habits are so important, because there is no need to overthink those steps or, get stressed out about that. If it's already habitual, like you already know what's going to happen next, then you can just do it. So routines are great. I have recently got back into training in the mornings. I kind of fell off a little bit in a sense. I was starting to go at night sometimes and things like that, but it just wasn't working out. I couldn't be as consistent as I needed to be to see the results I wanted. And the moment I went back into my morning training routine, it's crazy how just doing that changed the course of my gains, basically. So yeah, get you a routine that works for you and the time of day that suits you, the type of gym that suits you, and just make it habitual. That segues nicely into the next point, which is about lifting. Lifting, the love of my life, lifting. So of course, if you've been on my channel, you know I speak about this probably too much, but it is what it is. Lifting changed my life, changed my body, and it's how I built and maintain my physique. I will lift 4 to 5 times a week. A lot of those days will be large compound lifts, so that's things like doing a squat, doing deadlifts, bench and things like that. But other things are also important, right? So doing things like bicep curls, tricep push downs, all those other free weight exercises and also exercises that you do on resistance machines themselves are powerful in helping you to build the body that you want. And if you are, because of the routines you set in the last step, doing this consistently, you will see results. Like, you will. Your body will respond, and if you are also feeding your body what you need, then you'll definitely see the results that you want. So if you don't know where to start, there are a few videos on my channel where I show some of the exercises that I do, and there are also actually some on nutrition, so like high protein meals and things like that. But coming back to the exercises themselves, obviously, like I said, there's also my lifting guide, which has a plethora of exercises for you to perform. My final point is regards to cardio. Now, I've had an interesting relationship with cardio over the years. Like, sometimes I don't like it, and sometimes I really don't like it. But I think now I'm coming to a point where it is such a useful tool and a useful component of an exercise routine, of a fitness journey in general, and just holistic health. Like, who would have thought cardiovascular exercises might help everyday life? But yes, and the beauty of cardio is there's so many different forms in terms of how you perform them. So things like dance, it can be boxing, it can be a boot camp, it can be on one of the machines, sprinting and things like that. And so you can find something that you enjoy that is also, you know, targeting your cardiovascular system. But there are also the types themselves. So what I mean by this is low intensity, which a lot of people who lift incorporate, myself included. So that's things like maybe just walking at a slow pace, because that type of exercise I found isn't as intensive on the body as the name would suggest, but can help with, you know, that net calorie balance. So maybe you've eaten a little bit more than you expected today, and you walked enough though, so you know you've expelled that energy, so it's not so big of a deal. But there's also a place for high intensity as well. Like, maybe you like doing sprints. I sometimes like to incorporate sprints or circuits into my workouts too. Have a go, don't write it off. And I think this is another thing where it's the power of how you think. Like, I thought I didn't like cardio, and so I didn't like cardio, versus actually cardio is really useful and there's some ways I can enjoy it, and so now I don't mind it. So that's kind of it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. I love hearing stories and feedback from women who have started their lifting journey, whether they've got my guide or not, and how it's benefiting them. It's just amazing. Fitness does so much for the body and the mind. So, you know, I hope this helps, like I said. See you in the next video.